Good morning, everybody. This is a presentation on the workflow from Revit to Unity, and I'm using Rift with it. Quickly, who from you has already used the, who's currently a Revit user? Okay, we have 3 people in the audiences. Okay, who has used already the Oculus, the Rift? Okay, okay, cool. And quick, who from you is an architect? 1. And who from you works at a game studio? Okay, I'm trying to figure out who's in front of me. So, and who from you does visualization? Okay, okay. And who works in a serious game market? Okay, really cool. So my presentation will be very brief to the point, how you take your Revit files into Unity and use with Oculus Rift. Okay, quickly about me. I'm Callewaert. I'm the lead evangelist at Unity Technologies. So what my job is I travel around the world and I do presentations and I explain Unity. This presentation is a bit about Unity, but more about the workflow, how you import the objects and the problems around it. So there are 3 major products that basically architects use or design people. It's AutoCAD, Revit, and Inventor. Who from you is using Inventor? Okay. And who from you is using Revit? I asked it already. AutoCAD? Okay, interesting. Okay. So I'm very passionate to be here. A long time ago, when I was young, I studied architecture. And so when I used, during my studies, 3D, in my last year, I got a failure because I used a computer and not a pencil. So you can guess how old I am then. But I'm very excited about it because I love visualization, architecture, and the history. And there's nothing more exciting than to see the product in 3D, in augmented reality, and look at it. So the cool thing is in Autodesk, I'm going to explain a little bit about the Revit also and the products a little bit quickly around it. What I see is a lot of people don't use sometimes one product or they don't know exactly what the product does. So at Autodesk they sell suites, like design suites, the building suites, and most of them all come with, of course, with the 3ds Max. And that's what you need to go from Revit to Unity. You're going to integrate, you have to use 3ds Max, design, or just a regular 3ds Max. The difference is really very small between the products. But if you have like a suite, the premium suite and the ultimate suite, it comes with those products. Sometimes architects, they use Revit, but they don't use 3ds Max, but it always comes in the suite. Who from you has actually a suite? One of the suites? Okay. So the main products I said is AutoCAD, Revit, and Inventor. You can always go to the Autodesk website to learn more about those products, but like Revit is a phenomenal product when you want to visualize. Like click, click, and in a few clicks you basically have your building and you can start to work from there. But when I will show like a blueprint or a simple 3D model to a client, it's hard for them to always understand it. If they can see it in augmented reality with the Oculus Rift right in front of them and rotate and look at it, it's a whole different perspective. They really are engaged in the product and understand it. I remember when I was designing my own house, parts of it, when I showed to my wife a blueprint, for her it's like a postcard. Okay. So I made it in 3D and I showed it. So you have to import into 3ds Max, and that's the workflow. Like you're going to go from Revit to 3ds Max to Unity. Now, there's one important aspect to that when you work with Revit, 3ds Max, with Revit, Inventor, and the AutoCAD. They all share the same material library. And that's really great because then you can switch between all those different products easily and still have the nice materials. When you import in 3ds Max, it still works because 3ds Max has also that material library. Okay? But the problem is, in 3ds Max, if you import like the default Revit file here at house, and we're going to use that, when that comes from Revit and 3ds Max, the materials show up. Great. I export as an FBX and import in Unity, and it shows up like this. And I'm totally disappointed because it looks boring. Who from you uses Unity? Okay, who's the one who doesn't use Unity? Okay. Who from you has already brought in Revit files or AutoCAD files into Unity? Okay. And you all had the same problem that the materials don't show up? I start to cry too. It's like I did all that work now, make it nice looking, and you have access to a phenomenal library. No. The reason is because Unity doesn't share the same material. It uses the same, different material library. Okay. Also in 3ds Max, when you sometimes see the word bitmap, we think it's an image, but actually not an image. It's actually procedural. Okay. So it's just a concept that when I used to work with it, it's a long time, when I was really a 3ds Max expert, I thought a bitmap is an image, but that concept is not always an image, it's a procedural image. So that information doesn't come in Unity too. Okay. And 3ds Max has their own library too, but that can come into Unity. So there's a solution, it's called AMC Script. Who from you is using AMC Script? Okay. One person. Okay. It's a solution I found thanks to our community. It's a community member who wrote the script. It's Joop van der Steen. I had the luck to meet him at the visualization conference in the Netherlands. And then from there, I started to use this product and look at it, and it's phenomenal because what it does, you have your Revit file, you bring it in 3ds Max, and then you can convert it to the library that will match for Unity. All your textures, all your images, all come over. So in just one click, you can take all the content and bring it into Unity. Also, the cool thing is when you have bitmap in 3ds Max, it's procedural, it bakes it out as an image, and then comes into Unity. So there's a few steps involved actually, there's 2 steps. One, you're going to convert it to render basically with V-Ray or Archidesign. But that doesn't really matter for Unity, but we have to convert it because then we can convert from there to the standard materials in 3ds Max, who will come into Unity. Okay. And also the cool thing is actually when you export the images, you can actually export them directly to Unity. So when you import the FBX, your textures are already there. You don't have to worry about that. You can actually do parts of it or a whole scene. Okay, depending on how much polygons you have. So that's the result, is that it imports directly into Unity. Okay, and that's everything. So, but the main thing is, okay, we're not done yet. Okay, I want to show hands-on too, but there's some limitations, and we always have to be open about what doesn't work. Okay, after testing the plugin, I found out that the SSS materials and car paint don't come over, but you don't use that so much in visualization, but the cool thing is what you can do is, I would take change all my car paint to an existing material that can convert, and then in Unity, switch it there to the shader you want. So in one shot, all of them are done. And the same as with the SSS materials. But it's also very nice documented about this plugin. Then, if you're going to use the Rift, and I have it here with me, the Oculus Rift, it makes it very easy into Unity because you can drag and drop prefabs in there for a first-person camera. It's so easy done. When I download the SDK, I was like, wow, how am I going to figure that one out? But just go, click, and import the prefabs in your set. But there's 2 important settings that you have to realize. Who from you has already played with the Rift and then the quality settings? Okay, well, 1/3, great. So the cool thing is that you have to be, the resolution has to match. But I didn't put any specific numbers here because I'm working with the previous model, and there's a new model out with higher quality, so I have to check on the resolutions there. But the main thing is that you go in the quality settings, and then there you change the anti-aliasing settings. Why is that? Because you're rendering 2 times the camera, and because of stereoscopic aspect, your resolution in the horizontal is a lot less. So that's why you want to boost up the anti-aliasing. Okay. The script, here is the link where you can download and buy the script from Joop van der Steen. But let's get hands-on. So imagine now I have here Revit, I take the default file we have, and we're going to take that house from 3ds Max to Unity 2. So in Revit, the exporter is an FBX. I'm going to open here 3ds Max. Okay. And I'm going to import that file. So you can export as an FBX, but also you can natively bring in your Revit files or your the other AutoCAD files directly, the native file, into Unity and 3ds Max. So I'm going to go here to my desktop. Okay, I can actually do it like this. And I have here my building. So you natively drag it into Unity and 3ds Max here. Yeah. And I have the building here. It looks totally dark. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that so we can the shaded version here. Okay. And what I want now is I want to convert this all so it works. And the cool thing is it's really simple. You're going to go run a script. You select the script. Okay. And now we're going to convert it to architectural design materials. We're going to select all the scene here, convert this. Okay. Now, we see already the materials and the textures, but that doesn't work in Unity yet. What you do now, we're going to convert it now to standard materials. I just want to point out, so here you can put the resolution of your images, if you want high quality or lower quality. My advice is, do high quality. Okay? Why? In Unity, you can multi-select all your textures and change the quality setting to lower. There's no magic to make low quality, high quality. So it's better you bake it, and here for the demo purposes, I'm gonna do it on a low resolution. But I would do like easily 1024, bake it in those resolution, and then in Unity, I can define which textures I should put lower. Here you have a folder where you can export it to. Okay, I'm gonna put it here, a folder here, but normally what I do when I have a project, this is my project folder file. So when I bake it, it automatically goes in that folder. Makes it super easy. Okay, I'm going to click here, rename duplicates. Okay, and let's convert now. So that takes a little bit of time. And it's baking. So it's converting all the procedure materials. And there we have it, conversion finalized. Right. There's nothing visual change you see. And then I export as an FBX. Okay. And then I go to Unity. Okay. And what I have to do is just really simple. You import the FBX. On my desktop, I have my FBX here. So my building export, I drag it into Unity. I don't have to explain how to import an FBX to you guys. So this is my FBX here. But there's maybe a few things I quickly can talk about because you bring in a lot of polygons. Okay. My advice is try in 3ds Max maybe to merge objects to become one object. So you have a lot less vertex on the screen. You can have less draw calls. But here we have here the most important thing. We have like mesh compression that you can use. Okay, for static objects that works pretty decent without having an impact on the quality. What does actually the mesh compression do here? It's not like reducing polygons. A lot of people think it's a reduction polygons. If you work with 3ds Max, what do you think it is? No, it's actually what it does. It changes the amount of the float, basically, the quality of the float. So how many the position of a point of a vertex. As if it's 0.3334556, it reduces that number to a smaller number. So it's less precision, right? But I always check it. And then in the log file, you can check on how much the size files this is. Especially when we use that for mobile, you're going to look at that. This is one of the most important things. And then also here you can also use read-write enabled. Okay, it's a feature that if you by default it's on. Okay, that means you're able to animate the vertices or change that over time. If you take that off, you offload actually one object in the memory, because if you have that on, both are in the memory. Okay, and that's important to know. But remember then, when you take this off, your object will not be able to set to static for occlusion, culling, things like that. So I leave it on. So I take my object here in my scene, drag it in here. Okay. Revert. Okay, and now I have my object already imported here. Okay. When you in 3ds Max export this as an FBX, you're going to get an error, and it will say like the lights will not be converted. But what you can do is really simple in Unity. You have here, you can type in light, and it will select all your lights from your 3ds Max scene. And then you can make an editor, a little script, say convert my lights to spotlights, point lights. You don't have to really recreate them by hand and match the position. It makes it super simple in Unity. And now what we can do is here create a light, and then you can here set the light qualities. You can do your nice soft shadows. The intensity you're going to put to 1.1. Okay. And then for architect visualization, I really encourage you to go to our asset store, where you're going to find all skyboxes. Okay. Today we also have the lucky to have David Jackson with us. David Jackson runs our visualization department Unity. If you want like terrain in it, geodata, David Jackson can afterwards answer all the questions around that. So we have this, and then for Oculus it's really simple. You go to the website, you download the SDK, and then there's a section Unity, and then the only thing you have to do is assets, and you're going to import that package. And then you have here a whole example scene, or the Unity package. Click, you open that, and then it's nicely right away here, Oculus Rift, prefabs, and you have your player controller, your camera controller. You take your player controller, and you drag it in the scene here, and then you can scale your building up. I would strongly advise you not to use this scaling here. Okay. I would strongly advise you to select the scaling in here, in the building here, and use that scaling factor. If you work to 3ds Max, remember in 3ds Max, 1 unit is 1 meter. Okay? In Unity, 1 unit is 1 meter too. But by default, in Unity, the scale factor is set to 0.01, because our history came from Maya, and in Maya, 1 unit is 1 centimeter. So that's why we have that scale factor set to 0.01. So I put it to 1, and then right away I have my right settings. Okay, so the cool thing is now that after using this, okay, I'm opening the scene here now. And there we. Okay, and I did something. Oh, and I put it back to this. Apply. Okay. Give it a second, and then we're ready. So right now I have already here my Oculus player, and I have here my building, and now ready for the visualization. The only thing I have to do, and the cool thing is also that the Rift automatically works with my Xbox controller. So you plug it in, I plug in my Oculus Rift, and so the only thing I have to do is really simply plug it in. That's it, and then I have my Oculus Rift and walk through in this building. The only thing I added also was quickly is that I added here, I did my colliders, so I can walk in and collide with it. It's a bit costly, but of course in 3ds Max or in Unity you can make your own colliders and you're ready for that. If you want to come to try it afterwards, feel free to come to the stage and use it. If you have more questions, feel free to ask me questions, and David Jackson will be also here. If you have any questions for like geoterrain, he's the specialist in that. And here, the last thing is I want to thank you also. And here's my, okay, I want to give you my contact information. And I didn't put it on. It's really simple. It's carl@unity3d.com. Feel free to ask questions. I think everybody wants to go to the other lecture. The other lecture has the roadmap where all the secret stuff will be talked about. So thank you so much, and see you soon.